Welcome back to my channel, and this is going to be an update on the 52 game challenge. So recently I've done games 41 to games 50, so I am 2 games shy of the 52 game challenge. At the moment I'm playing Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, so that's hopefully going to be game 51, but it's quite a long game with long cutscenes, as Chicken Fillets often tells me. But anyway, going on to the games 41 to 50. So game 41 was a recommendation from Tommy at Dad and Lads Gaming. So this is back when they reached the 1000 milestone. They did a Q&A and I asked them for 3 games, a game from each of the 3 lads, what games they recommended. This one was from Tommy, and it was Space Marine, Warhammer 40k Space Marine. Really good game, and it was a game that I've always looked at playing, but I've never sat down and played it. It's one of those kind of games, and eventually I played it on Tommy's recommendation, and I loved it. It was exactly what I was looking for after playing, I think it was Miles Morales I was playing last, before this, and that was a massive game. But then this is just plain and simple, boots in the ground, smashing rocks, just brilliant. So yeah, it's a good kind of run and gun, third person action shoot 'em up kind of thing. A lot of people do say it looks a lot like Gears of War, but it's not really like Gears of War because there's no cover system at all. It's more just getting stuck into the orcs and getting as many kills as you can. In fact, when you're playing it, you have to kill the enemies, like you have to get stuck in and kill the enemies to regain health. So it always pushes you through, always pushes you to get involved in the combat. But yeah, really cool. Glad I played that one. So cheers, Tommy. Game 41. Game 42 was on the Switch, and this was a recommendation from Eddie, Roller X-Core. And no surprise, it's a shmup, but he showed me on one of the chats that this game was cheap on the Nintendo eShop, and it was Rigid Force. I've played this and finished it. It's only got 6 levels, it's quite a short game, but again it's just one of those kind of games you can dip in and dip out, and I'm not a really good player at the shmups. It's not a genre that I kind of excel at, but this was a really good one. It's a really kind of good introductory game for shmups. It's pretty easy. It's not easy, but it's pretty easy. Great graphics and great sound effects and music, and it was only 89 pence, so it was an absolute steal, 89p, and I really enjoyed it. So cheers Eddie for the recommendation, and I loved that one. That was really good. Game 42. Game 43. This is it. This is the big one. This is the big one. It's causing all the there's no bad feelings at all. But it is Final Fantasy 16. Absolutely fantastic game. My game of the year, 100% so far. Because Alan Wake 2 is not out yet. But Final Fantasy 16 is fantastic. What a game. I don't know what to say. I've not said in another video. But it's just fantastic. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant game. It's just full of action, full of heart, full of character, and like I always see, and I still to this day see these posts on Facebook and Twitter, and they're just slating this game, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think it's stupid. The way that they slate this game is nonsensical. It's just daft. It doesn't put a foot. It really doesn't put a foot wrong. It does exactly what it means to do. It tells an incredible story of Clive. Tells the story of his struggles and the big bad guy Ultima. Ultima is fantastic. What a bad guy he was right at the end. You know, he's just so staunch and so dead sure of what's going to happen with fate and everything. But one thing he didn't count on was Clive, and it's just brilliant. It's fantastic. Honestly, brilliant game. Absolutely fantastic. 43. 44 was a game I've wanted to play for ages. I've had in the collection for quite a wee while now. Never got around to it. But just recently I really wanted to play like a blockbuster kind of game, like a game that just kind of pushes you through the story and tells a story, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. Brilliant game, and I love this developer. I think they're brilliant. I spoke about Alan Wake 2 a minute ago, but it's Quantum Break. This game was fantastic. Loved it to bits. The story is I can never remember the guy's name. Is it Sam? I can't remember his real name. Sorry. Iceman from X-Men movies. Class game. So you're playing as Iceman, and you go back to your childhood friend in this lab, and he's tinkering with a time machine, a time device. It sounds daft, but it's so good, honestly. And yeah, you go back and forward through time to catch your pal and stop him from stopping the world, because he can see the end of the world, and he's trying to create these like arcs where he takes the most important people in the world, puts them inside this arc to preserve them, kind of thing. But it's fantastic. It's got quite a few big names in it. It's got the late, oh my god, what's his name now? What's his name? The black guy from Fringe. Oh my god, can't remember his name. That's terrible. But anyway, absolutely loved it. And there's another game from Remedy here that I played later on that just kind of solidifies that I really, really do love the Remedy kind of world that they're creating. The gameplay is really good as well. You've got a lot of different levels and things like that. The action's non-stop, loads of different enemies and things like that. It's just really, really cool. It's also got like a TV. Lance Reddick's his name. Black guy from Fringe. Brilliant. What an actor he was, man. Rest in peace. But yeah, you've got like a TV series kind of thing, and that's really cool because when you're playing the game, you're playing as Iceman, you're going through his story, and you're fighting all his battles and things like that. But in the TV show that accompanies the game, you get to see the other side, so the baddies, so to speak, and it's really cool. Gives you a new perspective, and it kind of breaks up the gameplay into like watching a kind of TV series. It's really, really cool. I recommend that one for sure. Next game was on the Switch again, and this game, so after playing Quantum Break, wait a wee second to get the picture up, just really quick. After playing Quantum Break, I wanted to play something quite short, quite quick, so I picked, where is it? Oh my god. I don't have a picture of the home screen, but it was Kamiko on the Switch. Again, a really, really quick game. There's 3 different characters to play through. The stories play the exact same, it's just the kind of different mechanics for each character. Like one's got one fires a shield, one's got a bow and arrow, one's got a sword. So that's really kind of only difference with each playthrough. But each playthrough is only about 40 minutes to an hour. Once you do the first playthrough, the next 2 are quite quicker because you know exactly what to do. But I really enjoyed it. It's really kind of like an 8-bit kind of art style. Again, nice music, just a really simple game. But it was a nice game to kind of plug the gap between some bigger games. So after Kamiko, oh Christ, I played another one on the Switch. I forgot. So the next one I played on the Switch was, wait till I get a wee picture, was Valiant Hearts. Great game. What a game this is. This is just so, it's got a really kind of heartfelt story because you follow 4 different characters during the Great War. So during World War I you follow a wee Frenchman, a German soldier, an American, and I think a French medic French or Belgian, I can't remember, sorry. But it was really cool, and the gameplay is quite nice. It's kind of like puzzle kind of things, puzzly and point and clicks kind of almost. But the most striking thing about it is that it tells a really deep story, obviously, of these characters, and it deep dives into like the horrors of the First World War. And you get little special features where you can go in and you can see like real pictures from the First World War, and it tells you about certain places, or it tells you about certain weapons used, or certain situations. Like there's a good bit in it, not a good bit, but a bit that's quite enlightening. It tells you about the gas attacks and things like that. It's just really eye-opening. It's really good and really educational as well, actually. But the reason I played this is because, so I bought that game on a sale as well, and it was on maybe a couple of quid maybe, but it was a special edition, so you got like a little kind of comic book, digital comic book, and it was called Dogs of War. That's it there. And I read this first before I played the game, and I just loved that wee comic. It was just a great wee comic. It was about two wee pups that were born in the farm that belonged to the German that you follow in the game. Is that right? Aye. And so two wee pups. One wee pup is just really kind of excitable, and he just runs about all the time. So he's used as a messenger. So he runs around the battlefield and things like that, taking messages to all the different posts. And then there was another one, the wee black one there. He was very intuitive, so he could notice when somebody was hurt, when somebody was injured, and he would pull them out of the rubble. And that's the one that follows you around the game, the wee black one, not the wee brown one for other reasons, sad reasons. But anyway, Valiant Hearts was really, really good. Really enjoyed that. The next game I played was a recommendation from Mark Jordy Slasher. And when Mark Jordy Slasher tells you a game's scary, you listen to him, because he plays a lot of horror games. So the next one I played was Madison. This game is terrifying, honestly. It's a walking simulator, and it's terrifying in the sense that there's loads of different sounds in the background. It's kind of what do you call it? Mentally scary kind of thing, because you can hear the doors shutting and things like that, and things get knocked over. And if you're like stuck on it, those sounds are still going around, but it can kind of slow down a wee bit. But if you can plough through it and get from point A to point B to point C to point, it's just fantastic, and it never lets up. There is some tricky puzzles, and I did have to use a guide, I think twice in it, so it was just a wee bit too tricky. But I'm glad I did, because it managed to push me forward through in the game, so I could experience the end of the game, obviously. And it was just brilliant, man. Honestly, creepy as anything. Like, so many jump scares. I was playing it downstairs one night with the headphones on, and Jay was on the other couch, so he was just sitting over there doing shit on his phone, as he always does. And I must have jumped and screamed about 10 times, and he was just pissing himself laughing. But my god, what a game. Absolutely fantastic. Blue Knees is real. Absolutely brilliant. Highly recommend. Next one was, so like I was talking about Remedy earlier with Quantum Break. Again, Mark Jordy Slasher inspired me to play this game, because he got given, I think it was by James Retro Import. I think he picked up a couple of steelbooks for him, and this was one of them. And an amazing game, Control. Love this game so much. I've finished up the PS4, got the Platinum on the PS4, and I was going to go for Platinum again on this PS5, but I just wanted to move on to the next couple of games. But this game is brilliant, and I love, like I said with Quantum Break, I love the whole kind of world that Remedy are building, because there's so much potential in it. And like, I remember there's a while ago I was talking to Mark and I was playing Inside, and Inside's a completely different game obviously, but there was something about Inside that reminded me of Control. And I think it was just the kind of contrasting colours, because it was kind of black and white inside with the wee red jumper. You know, I just think with the possibility of the OOPs, so the objects of power, and the AWEs, the altered world events that this game talks about. There's possibility of like so many games that could fall into this world. Like, I think this is just so stupid, but like the wee red jumper that the wee guy wears in Inside could have been an OOP. Do you know, like that could have been the catalyst of the world that you went through in Inside. And I could just imagine that jumper like hung up in one of the kind of containment cells in Control. That's just my mind, just stupid sometimes, but I really got vibes of Control in Inside. But I love it, absolutely love it. It's so good. The combat is so kinetic. It's so crunchy. You feel like you're actually smashing rocks off people and shooting baddies. It's one of the best combat systems I've ever played. Like this and God of War, those combat systems are brilliant because all the attacks seem meaty, and yeah, it feels like you're delivering a punch, you're delivering a rock to the face, or an axe in God of War's case. But loved Control. Again, another really cool part. And again, when I played it and I played this part in the Ashtray Maze, I bloody love the Ashtray Maze. The Ashtray Maze part is fantastic, and it's not long. It's only a couple of minutes long, but there's this maze in the game. You've got to go through it, but the walls kind of shift and change, so you can't get through it until you go and see Ati, the janitor, and he gives you his little Walkman, and the Walkman says Pony on it, so it's kind of like a play on words of Sony, but it's called Pony, the Walkman. And you go back to the Ashtray Maze, and she slips on the headphones, and the Control music plays. It's like heavy rock, screamo kind of music, and you just run through it, and the baddies come, and the world just kind of like bends and everything. Oh, it's so cool, man. I love that part. That part was amazing. But Control is definitely a top tier game. Looking forward to, again, like I said, I'm looking forward to Alan Wake 2, but more importantly, I'm looking forward to more Control, because I think there's so much possibility with Control and the world that Remedy have built. I think that it can branch off into so many different games, and I'm ready for it. Brilliant. So that was game number 48. Game number 49 was a game I got a long time ago from Ross Bahaha, and he gave me two of these. So he gave me Circle of the Moon, and he also gave me Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance. Really enjoyed it again. It's very much what you expect from a Castlevania game, in the sense of the kind of traversal and the kind of combat and everything. You play as Just, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but you play as a grandchild of Simon Belmont, and you go to the castle to rescue one of your childhood friends who went in there, who got kidnapped via another friend. It's kind of silly, but the most important part of it is obviously the gameplay and the combat and everything. And you get different spell books. All the kind of items are still there, like the cross and the dagger and the holy water and things like that. But there's like 5 different spell books, and whichever one you're using changes the attack of each of the sub weapons. It's really cool. It's really nice. Difficult though, because the map is quite hard to traverse around. Again, I had to use a guide because I just did not know where the hell it wanted me to go. I just did not know. And I don't use guides to like walk through a game. I use a guide to kind of like just point me in the right direction, and then I'll close the app kind of thing or whatever. I don't sit there reading guides constantly. But I remember mentioning this on one of Omega's streams. I told him I just started it, and what was it he said? He likes it. He likes all Castlevania games, but he said, "Oh my god, Dissonance of Harmony of Dissonance. Oh my god, that map." That's all he said. Like, I think he knows it. I think he said that the map was just tough, and it is tough because there's 2 maps: there's Castle A and Castle B. But I did enjoy it. It was a good game. The end boss was really quick though, so I don't know if it's like if you have to do other stuff to get to a bigger end boss or something, kind of like in Symphony of the Night, how you had to use something to see that ball and hit the ball, and then I don't know. But I did one playthrough of it. I did enjoy it. And then Ross Ball again, heavy influence on me playing this game because I watched him play on stream on Twitch, and I picked this up last month. What a game. I mean, when I was watching him play it, I thought it looked really nice, it looked really cool. And it's got the cutest little sidekicks ever. Like, it almost makes you sick, but they're just so cute. And it's Kena, Bridge of Spirits. This game is wonderful, absolutely fantastic. I couldn't stop playing it. But I know Ross has done the Platinum on PS4, and then when I released my pickups video, I said on that he was working on the PS5 one to do the Platinum, and literally 10 minutes after I posted my pickups video, he put on the little chat that he just Platinum the PS5 version, so he has smashed this game everywhere possible, and it's wonderful. Everything about it is fantastic. The graphics and the music, the graphics in particular are just so what you'd expect from a modern game, times 10. It's just brilliant. It's like a animated movie, and I think I read somewhere that the developers of the game were originally animators for movies, so it kind of like you can kind of see that in the work that they've done in this game. It's fantastic. Honestly, the worlds are just so beautifully created. The foliage and the kind of and the levels with all the kind of whether you're in caves or whether you're out in the forest or the field or anything, it's just you just feel like you're in that world. It's just fantastic. It doesn't skimp on presentation at all. The voice acting's fantastic. The character models are beautiful as well. Everything about this game. This is highly recommended. Like, definitely, if you haven't played this, it's a must play. It's very much like the old school kind of Zelda games. It's a action adventure where you have to go and reunite the spirits. So the Bridge of Spirits, you have to reunite the spirits together to overcome the corruption that's befalled the land. And it's just so good and it's so heartwarming, full of soul. Can't recommend it enough. Fantastic game, brilliant. And that was game 50. So I'm now on my last two games. Like I said, I'm on Metal Gear Solid 4, sorry, Guns of the Patriots. So hopefully that'll be game number 51. And then I don't know what game 52 is going to be. I've not started anything yet. I've had a week off work, so I'm back to work on Monday. I'm in no rush to finish the challenge, to be honest. I'm not just going to throw something on just to finish it and finish the challenge. So anyway, that was my next 10 games of the 52 game challenge. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.